Hello and welcome back to TCT Podcast, a podcast where we aim to build different ideas through an Afrocentric point of view. Esla.
I am Angelica.
Anugo. And yes, welcome to this brand new episode today where we're going to be discussing really, I would say philosophical ideas actually in society, especially, I think, more from the point of view of how the 21st century is shaping society. In terms of like the family unit, and I think today we're just trying to flesh out from as we stated earlier during the podcast from an Afrocentric point of view, try and see how single parenthood within the black community, specifically in the African, recently in this African home, because now the world is a global village. It's very small now, right? Everywhere inspires everywhere. China inspires, I don't know, like Alaska nowadays. No, it's true because they can see Chinese things on the internet, so it's easy. Yeah. It's easy for anything to be a trend right now. So now, unfortunately, it's the baby mama culture that's going on, and now I want to specifically see how it's shaping young men and people like my age and others who are caught up in the victim as a result. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think that's some interesting conversations. But first off, how you guys doing? Everybody good?
Damn, you make me sound bad. Oh yeah, how you doing? No.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody was alright, man.
Let's take it back. How are you doing?
I'm good. Surviving. Breathing. So
Yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah, no, everything alright, man. It's been a long, hard week. Actually, is this been the fastest January? I think.
You're actually not capping.
Same.
You're actually not capping. It's actually gone like mad quick, and I'm like, yo.
It's been the fastest.
Wait, is that because when I was in uni, one of my lecturers told me that as you get older, life starts going faster.
Man, that's some depressing shit.
That's some hella depressing. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, hey man.
Do you know what this symbolizes? It just means you are making more money. Because before we're broke, and that's why January was very long. By the 5th of January, bro, let's go out. You're like, oh man, it's too sunny. You're like, bro, what do you mean?
I think I can agree because it's like you spend all your money in December and then in January you're like, what happened?
And they're paying you end of the month. Bro, it's the longest month,
Bread and water.
At that time, actually, we didn't even have end of the month because uni is just Hail Mary. It just depends on when your parents are nice.
Facts.
So they can give you end of the month or start of the month. Like, it just depends.
Facts.
So, man, give thanks.
Alright, cool, man. So, the first combo we're getting into is
the Divine
Mother. And I think there's a video you shared.
Man. So, I think the video was from Jordan Patterson. He was just explaining the concept of the Divine Mother from the point of view where he was trying to express that a parent projects their fears on their kid to the extent in which he eventually destroys the kids for good, as opposed to the intentional idea of correcting it from the ways or protecting it from dangers that the mother intended in the first place. So I think it will be interesting to watch and commentate on the video.
Alright, cool. So we'll have a quick watch of the video, and then we'll insert the that one when your mother tongue just slaps it. I'm trying to speak Igbo and multiple languages at the same time, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll insert the link to the video, and then if you guys want to watch it and to obviously get context of what we're talking about, but
we'll put the link in the description.
Yeah. But alright, cool. So let's get into the video.
Mr. Yoshi.
Alright, cool. So yeah, that was a very interesting video.
Yeah.
Talking about the Devouring Mother.
Yes.
And the reason why I like that name, Devouring Mother, is as I was watching, I was thinking, the point he was making is the mother is so like concerned about protecting the child to such an extent that she's willing to devour the child in order to protect the child against any threats.
Yes.
So it's a very apt name that she's willing to not destroy from a negative perspective, but I would put you out. I would rather put you out to the pain than let someone else.
Yep.
Yeah, let someone else do that to you. So yeah. So what do you guys think about that concept? Like the fact that the mom is again, I don't want to use destroy from a negative part.
No, I get what you're saying. I think that happens to a lot of diasporans, especially that move to the Western world, right? There's always like that conflict of cultures, right? So as a kid, you go outside your house, you have to be British, and in the case of say you're a Nigerian, when you come back home, you have to act like a Nigerian. Now, let's say you go to school, majority of your life, you're British.
Yeah.
And it's just at least maybe 4 or 5 hours or 6, 7 hours there in the house, you know, that you be Nigerian or you act Nigerian a certain way.
Yeah.
And that actually depends if your parents are home. Because most times your parents are probably working night shift or something like that. So it's like when that happens, a lot of projection like that starts coming in place in terms of, okay, now the parents now, you know, when the kid now start having British ideas, you say for example, Mom, I want to be a painter. Damn. Or Dad, I want to be a painter. You know the reception your typical African parents will give you. What do you mean you want to be a painter? Like they can't see the big picture. They can't see that, oh, you can be a Picasso or you can be a painter in this modern way where you can even be like a graphic designer that can transfer into like a graphic designer or something like that. All you can just think of is all you can think of is just the white collar jobs, like the you know, like the office consultant, doctor, nurse, all that kind of stuff. That would traditionally give them money. They can't see past the immediate things that they know, and that sometimes like I feel like it hinders the potential of a lot of like the aspirants, because a lot of their interest is not bad. It's just that they're not encouraging them to explore it in a different way. And from the parents' point of view, they are right, because why are you just going for painting? I think subconsciously what they're trying to ask the kid is, are you sure? But they too, they're projecting their fears on that kid, and they don't actually want that kid to go for it. And there's that miscommunication, you know. A lot of people suffer from that, and as a result you get that divine mom. Yeah.
And do you think, like, from the from the perspective of the mom, right, knowing that she so let's say you told her you want to be a painter, knowing the threats, okay,
and for context, that's a single mother. I'm saying
single mother.
That's a single mother.
Yes, I'm gonna get to the single mother part, but just from the natural instinct the mother has, right? You've told her you want to be a painter. The threat of like the consequences you might face from trying to be a painter. Let's say you're going to be broke for a number of years, or you might end up getting disappointed and it doesn't work. That threat, she's so scared of that threat hurting you that she'd rather discourage you. She'd rather be the one that made you not do it, rather than go out there and get punished by the world. She'd rather indirectly punish you in a way, is what I'm trying to say.
For me, I think that African parents, they normally do that just because they want you to one day move back home. So they want you to have professions that you can succeed as well with when you get back home. So like doctors, nurses, there will always be job for those kind of you know professions. So I think that's what they mostly focus on.
But even if you are telling them you're experiencing, so the same threats they're trying to save you from, I know in their infinite wisdom experience, you've never seen what they've imagined or ancestors have seen again. But even if you're telling them, this part you're putting me on is actually hurting me, the supposed thing you're trying to protect me from is actually hurting me and inhibiting me, they are not willing to see it, because they'll rather know the pain is coming from them than the pain is coming from the outside world.
And that's even more painful.
That's more painful. That's what I'm trying to get at.
And that's actually more painful, because the thing is, like, it hurts when your family member is telling you can't do it. Well, because you see, if the world tells you can't do it, that motivates you to want to conquer the world. But if your family member it feels like a bully Do you get that? Like it feels like there's somebody slapping, but there's nothing you can do about it. And you're respectful about it, which is even more, is more annoying. And you have emotions because you love them, you don't want to disappoint them, but then you're hurting yourself. Like you can't be. You have to put them as a priority.
I feel like for me, that sometimes parents do that, but they don't really know that they're hurting you.
Yes.
I'm gonna give like my example, right? Of course, I came overseas to study and everything. My mom is a single mother. What else is she gonna do? So she just thought, imagine I got here, I was trying to develop myself, but I didn't get to half of it, to get to know myself, and my mom was already here trying to save me and trying to, how can I say, keep me safe. She was doing that from a loving part, but from the way I see it, it didn't really come out like it.
Of course.
So I think African parents normally, they try to guard you from stuff, but you see it as like a bully, and they see it as I need to be hard with them for them to understand where I'm coming from. So I feel like both end up misunderstanding each other.
Yeah. And that's why I like the divine mother concept, because it touches on your point where they think they're doing it from a good perspective, but you're not understanding that you are doing as much damage from the fact that you're blocking me from doing what I want, but I can't challenge you because you already have that mother place. So it's you're devouring me. Like it's not even like you're dominating me. Like you're destroying me from a way I can't even defend myself.
It's like you hurting me more than you're protecting me.
Although
because I'm not feeling the protection.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And to his point in what he was saying in the video, like if parents, mothers understood this, actually helping the child is letting the child grow up by himself and figuring it out, and letting the world treat them, letting the world do that damage rather than you doing that damage. But they don't get the concept because, again, to what he was touching on, right from when the child is young, they are geared to protect that child at all costs, which is vital for protecting children. But when the child gets older enough, you have to switch that mindset. You can't keep crying on that mindset going on.
For me, I think watching that video made me realize that there's two types of single mothers. So there's the type that really grabs onto you and suffocates you. And there's the other type that is like, oh, I make enough money. You know, imagine she's pregnant, the guy doesn't want it, and she says, oh, I make enough money, I don't need you.
Woman,
You can say, I don't need you right now. I mean, you can buy toiletries, you can buy everything for the child, food. But the thing is, you can't replace a father. You can't replace a father with doing that, you know, buying all that stuff and thinking you're that independent. I feel like for me, I do believe that it's just an excuse. Like moms, they say that at the beginning that, we can afford everything. We don't need that guy. We don't need a man. But on the end of the day, when the child starts asking for her dad, what are you going to say as a single mom? You know?
Actually, that leads me to this question, right? Which is a general question. What do you guys think of like modern family units in terms of like the baby mama culture from a Western perspective affecting our society? Because so right now we have a social welfare system that benefits that benefits women that have kids outside wedlock. If you're a loving family, you don't get no support from the government. But if you're a baby mama, you get all sorts of benefit, plus the support of the system in terms of child support from your man and all that kind of stuff, right? So economically, 1,000%, I'm not even gonna blame a woman or act like a saint. I can understand why a lot of people will use that system to their advantage. I totally understand that. So having said that, what do we think of that, and how do we think it's going to affect us in the future going forward?
I mean, I think that's a natural progression of the conversation, because now we just talked about the fundamental nature of women to be overdoting right to their child, to protect their child at all costs. Now in the video as well, he touched on the fact that the father, being the dismissive one, counterbalances that need for the child. So now when the child feels a lot of mother's love but has the discipline or the pushback from the father, it makes the child be balanced, right? But now if you have a single mother situation, which we're having now, or like you pointed out, is kind of encouraged by society because there's incentives for women to be single mothers. You're kind of removing that father counterbalance. So now you're just having one lane of an overdoting mother on the child, which will obviously exacerbate the effects of the divine mother that we're trying to avoid in the first place.
For me as a woman, I think I see it from different perspectives. Of course, you look at your aunties that are married and everything, and I'm not gonna lie, many women are married but they're literally single mothers, or they're married and the husband is like a third, second child, you know, that's just someone else to take care of. Jesus, I'm not gonna lie. It's true. Child,
no, like I know that's actually sad.
I mean, they can provide money and everything, but when it comes to the emotional part, some men are not ready to, you know, show that. So
is it fair to say like emotion is not men's thing? Because I don't believe that.
No, I don't believe that as well. I think everybody has emotion. Everybody has. You can't tell me that you don't have love for your child because
I'm not saying you know, being emotional is not a man's thing, but providing that emotional support to a child is not the man's role in that family unit.
For me, I believe that it is the man and the woman's role, because there's so many things that a woman can't teach her child that a man can.
I mean, it depends on what you're defining emotional support as. But if you are saying emotional support in the classical example of that sensitive, don't cry support, that's more of the mother's role. I don't think it's healthy for a father to be that kind of role, because flipping it on the divine mother concept, I think there's also going to be effects of a child where they have an absentee father, meaning a father who didn't provide the discipline and structure, versus, in a way, still an absentee father because he's not doing the masculine role, but even if he's still present, like he's still in the house, like to your point, the third child, he's the vibes guy, always playing with the kids, never telling the kids, yo, stop that, behave yourself. Being the third child in that scenario, that's still a consequence to the child because he's not performing the masculine role.
There needs to be for sure like a balance. Like the dad will provide more, how can I say, security basically into the house. Like they will say, don't do this, don't do that. They will provide more rules. But I think a dad can also be emotional with his child, you know?
I agree. I think I'll be emotionally intelligent. Like for me, the way I always think about having my family is, I want to be like a friend, but as an elder brother, OG type friend. Do you get what I'm saying? Somebody that you have respect for based off what I've accomplished. I don't want to be able to lie to my kids. Like whatever I am, hopefully by God's grace, like I would like my kids to see the good and the bad and the ugly. I want to be able to have the chance to explain exactly why I do, why I'm bad, why I'm good, and why I make all my life choices, so that they can respect me from that point of view. And I feel like if you raise your kids from that point of view, emotionally, it gives your kid like a very solid foundation in terms of like how they will function in society. Because when they go to society right now, they don't really have any expectations apart from what they've seen at home, which is honesty, right? So they're not really concerned about the front of, oh, you're my Instagram driving Bentleys. I don't give a fuck about that. It's just about, okay, work hard, and honestly, sometimes you're going to fail, sometimes you're going to eat good. It's just part of life, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I hear that. But the concept of friend is, the thing about the concept of friend is, I don't believe friendship has as much responsibilities as fatherhood.
Yeah. So
if you approach your child as a friend, if you're my friend, right?
No, not friend. So sorry, let me rephrase that. I'll make them more of like a partner in terms of like the values I'm trying to instill in them. I'm trying to instill in them like a family values that's going to run for generations, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to relate to them as...
I think it comes down to respect, but I don't believe the wording should change. Like, I'm still your father, but because I'm your father doesn't mean I should slap you in the back of your head and tell you go do that.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to have some respect for you, but I'm not your friend in this scenario because there are more responsibilities. Like, take for example, if you're my friend, because I chose you to be my friend in a sense, like there are some things you wouldn't really want to say because it's not, like, let's say you saw me doing something that is considered bad in society, let's say smoking, right? and you're trying to say, yo, stop smoking. Because you're my friend, if I say, yo, man, shut up, that's none of your business. As a friend, there's nothing more you can do. But as a father, I can't be like, oh, okay, that's none of my business. You get what I'm saying? No.
I mean,
you heard what I said. Stop that. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm providing that father responsibility. At some point in your life, as a child or any child, you should overcome that concept of your dad. But when the child is still growing, that needs to be established. Like you can't be negotiating with your kid to some extent.
No, not when I'm paying the bills, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, nah. When I say 7 o'clock sleep is, we're not.
Come on, man.
What are you gonna sleep in my house? Is it not my house? Are you mad?
And that leads to a lot of delinquent behavior in society now, because you have a lot of parents who are treating their kids as friends. Like, I mean, we don't want to name certain groups, but we know certain groups of people who don't have that reign. And to be honest, in our culture as well, we might have too much of a reign on our kids.
Yes.
Where we get into that concept of devouring them and obstructing them. But there should be that fine balance. Like, you can't. There should be certain things your kids should be cautious about addressing to you that they would address to a friend.
I feel like it should be down. It should be. I feel like relationships should be. Respect should be emphasized in relationships a lot, because if you respect somebody, there's no how you treat somebody in a way that is like undermining. Do you get what I'm saying?
For me, I think as a parent, see how you said that kids should address their parents cautiously. I think with swear words and things that you can see that the kid is not respecting you, it's okay to have that mindset. But when it comes to other stuff, there's other stuff that you can approach your parent. If they're not really open, you're not going to approach them. You're just going to go somewhere else to get that information. So I think it's important for parents to be open with their kids, both mom and dad.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely want my daughter to tell me who she's dating, so I can at least send like a secret spy or something in case. Just in case he acts like a human being.
I was saying this recently now. For my daughters, when I let them start dating, they have to introduce.
That's why they're crazy when you let them.
No, like I said, I'm not their friend. I have to maintain the father relationship, right? And when the opportunity comes, I think for everyone they would date, they should introduce the child to me. Just because it makes the situation safer. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
It makes sense, right?
The way you're saying is just threatening. Like, I can't.
I'm maintaining the father relationship. That's what I'm trying to say. But let's switch the conversation to not switch it, but like let's get into the concept of how this divine mother behavior affects the boy child and affects the girl child.
Okay.
In their own different ways. Okay.
Yeah. I think from a male perspective, I feel like it stops a lot of potential in society. Men become too much of a mama's boy to a stage where the mother's fear eclipses the ambition of the boy. So you know how they say sky is your limit, but then it becomes mama is my limit.
Yup, exactly. That's
bad.
That's actually a quote there. Mama is my limit, because that's very, very fact.
Mama is your limit.
But I think that as well, mothers that are very, devoted to their sons. Let's be honest, the sons don't really have many life skills. They maybe don't know how to cook, how to clean. Many mothers don't think about it. They say, oh no, I can just do everything for my son. What about when your son moves out? What about when you're not there anymore? Who's going to do it for him? Do you know? So if he lives alone, he needs to have basic life skills.
And that's to the point of Jafar's, his quote, Mama is the limit. Because if Mama is the limit, if my mom doesn't have any vision, then I don't have any vision. Like, whatever I achieve in life is how progressive her mindset is. If she thinks her mindset is nothing should be done, like I can't do anything in my life, she needs to do everything for me, that'll obviously be my limit as well. I'll never grow up to actually think I can be better than someone in life taking care of me and providing for all my needs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, going back to the topic of like men being the second or third child, you as a mom, if you don't teach your son that he has to clean, cook, how is he not going to become another child to their wife?
Because clean cook can be solved. But I get what you're saying in spirit.
Yeah, but like, how can I say it? Like,
no, you're saying the right thing.
You're saying, no. I get the point you're saying.
But the thing is, the mom is not always gonna be there. It's a household of 2 parents.
I mean, someone can also provide. Someone can always provide clean cook facilities. I'm just saying, in general, I get what you're saying. You're saying like the son should be able to provide for himself and not rely on his mother.
Why I'm saying
not
this
necessarily cleaning and cooking.
Yeah. Why I'm saying this is because I've been on a household before, right? And I've seen the demographics, and it's like the mom would go out to work, the dad would work from home, as kids would be there at home, and the dad doesn't know how to do anything. So it's us against the kitchen, us against
why are you guys in the house?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't mean the dad can't do anything, but he doesn't have to cook and clean. That's what you get what I'm trying to say.
I'm taking care of young.
Yeah, but if he doesn't, why have a child if you don't know how to do basic things?
No, why have a child?
He might know how to do it.
You need to know how to do it when the mom is not there. Do you know?
No, but that's a different way that is. So to Chip's
like,
point
imagine
earlier,
the mom comes home at 10 p.m. Are you gonna wait for the mom to come home at 10 p.m. while the kids need to be asleep at 7?
No. To Chip's point earlier, right? It's like the that's the balance of parenthood, right? The mom is the one that's gonna do everything around. But our mom is not around. Best believe all that thing that mom is doing. I hope you guys been watching. Yeah. So now I want you guys to replicate what mom is done. It's just a different way.
And the kid is 5 years old. That's what you're telling them.
Yeah, you can set the dinner table at 5.
Essentially,
and they can cook the dinner too.
No, you can't cook. But like, set the
but you're
dinner
saying
table.
like, everything that you see your mom do it as well.
No. I'm saying it has to be done.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anybody to do it. It just has to be done. Because mother is not around doesn't mean these activities don't get done. That's all I'm saying.
There's 2 parents on the household.
No, because father is still doing his duties.
Of course. I'm reading newspapers. I'm observing.
Come on, I need to research.
So
I need to make a contract. Very big plates. How's this family unit?
What?
My question is
news debate.
My question is, if the mom works until late and the father says he's doing his duties, who's gonna put the kids to sleep? Who's gonna, see them?
Since that was mother's primary responsibility, I believe, and this is my personal opinion, that mother should have sorted that out. Again, it doesn't have to be mother that does it, but it's her responsibility to make sure that gets done. To put them to
sleep as well while you're in the house as a parent. There's 2 parents in the house.
If she asked me to do it, that's very
okay.
Why
would she ask you to do it?
Let me explain. If she asked me to do it, that's very okay.
She doesn't need to ask you to do it.
But that would be the expense of me doing something else. Do you get what I'm saying? If I'm trying to do if I don't have any other fatherly duties to do, yes, obviously I'm available for her to delegate that task to me. But if I'm doing something else, it's up to you to figure it out to be done. I'm not gonna, because I have my responsibilities, you have your responsibilities. Same way for me with money. If I was the one that I couldn't make money this time and I need money to come from somewhere, she has her motherly duties. I'm not going to put that on her. If she's free and capable to go and make some extra money for me, fantastic. But she's like, I've got to watch these kids, and I need to figure it out as a man how to get more money. I'm not going to say, you don't contribute stuff as a woman.
I'm going to say something. I feel like when it comes to doing a duty of 2 parents, men always bring up money, which is a big problem, because if there's 2 parents, she didn't bear those kids by herself. There's 2 parents in the household, capable adults to take care of kids. If she gets home at 10 p.m., those kids need to be in bed. Someone needs to put them in bed.
If she gets home at 10 p.m. because she was making money, right? And within that same time,
even if she wasn't, she can hang out with her friends. The same way that guys.
Thank you for even changing the analogy, because that one is even more of a reason why it's her responsibility to sort it out.
It doesn't need to, like, how can we say it's like, okay, let's say a man goes out, right? He has a full family at home, and he goes out with his friends to watch football. That's not going to change the household. But as soon as a woman goes out with her friends and says, look, you're staying at home, we're a 2-parent household, you're also a parent, so you must also be dedicated to these kids.
Can I say something? I don't think, I don't necessarily, see, just like how nurturing is like a responsibility of a woman within the family unit, providing is like a responsibility for a man, right? In this scenario, right, if she's not able to if she's not able to nurture the kid like to the expectation of how society would like her to do, why not get a nanny that can do that instead?
Exactly.
Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, the man
but
will
my
pay for
question
it.
is, if she goes out once a month with her friends, you need a nanny.
No, but that's how
you're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
I'm not. I know you're talking about money and
I'm
men
not
need to
talking
bring
about money.
money.
I'm saying it's her responsibility to get the job done. If she can't do it herself, she's well in her rights to delegate that task to anybody, including me.
Yes, I
but
do.
However, it can only come not at the expense of my own responsibilities.
Yeah.
If I'm doing something that's already family responsibilities, then you find someone else.
But you know how it frustrates me? Just because if it's a 2-parent household, there's men that call that babysitting. How's that babysitting if that's your child?
If I'm supposed to be doing something else.
Even if you're supposed to be doing something, if she goes out, you already know that you're gonna be inside the house taking care of the kids.
But that's not what I'm talking about.
But like, see,
no,
this
but
scenario.
That's what I'm talking about.
But this scenario.
I'm saying that on that scenario, when she goes out with her friends and she has to ask you as a dad, take care of the kids. Why would she ask you
because
if
that's
those
her
are your
responsibility.
kids?
Yeah. No.
Those are your kids.
Yes, they're my kids.
You can't call it babysitting when it's literally your kids.
They're my kids, but we have different responsibilities to these kids that are both ours.
So you can't watch out for these humans.
I'm not saying I can't.
Yeah.
The point is that's your responsibility. The same way I have my responsibility. It doesn't mean we can't share and delegate to each other. Mm-hmm. But if someone says, who is responsible for this? Why this kid's not in bed?
You.
It's me.
No, it's not me.
Any adult
responsibility.
Okay, I'm gonna ask something, okay? When your mom and dad are both at work and you have a younger sister or younger brother, when your mom and dad come home and they ask you, why is your sister still awake? Whose responsibility is that going to be? Is that not going to be the responsibility of the grown person inside the house?
No, they delegated that task to that kid.
They don't need to delegate any task. As long as you look around, as long as
you tell you from before they leave.
As long as you look around, like
make sure I put them in bed by 7. That's
you look around, you see that your parents are gonna work until late. You already know that you're the oldest in the house, so it's your responsibility automatically. Is your mom doesn't need to come up to you and say, babysit your sister, please. Like she doesn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Because you look around and you see, okay, I'm the most grown-up person in this place, so anything that happens to these little kids that I'm taking care of is my responsibility. You know that for sure. Why does someone have to come up to you and tell you what's already a fact?
Yeah.
No.
Why do we have to then call it babysitting and no, she has to tell me?
No.
You can already see. You guys already had conversations about this.
I'm saying there are responsibilities that should be carried out by certain people. Responsibilities. I didn't say duties or tasks. Meaning, if you want to outsource that responsibility, you can outsource it to anyone, including me, including the older child.
She doesn't need to associate because that's also responsibility of a
There's
dad.
no point. If we all have the same responsibility, then what are we doing? That makes no sense.
It is a responsibility of the dad. If the dad is the oldest person in the house,
there's called
it is
what
his
was that
responsibility.
word? When you assign tasks to different people.
Our project manager.
No, there's something like I can't remember, but everybody can have the same responsibility. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't mean that you have the same
organization to work
responsibility.
efficiently, there has to be one chief person responsible.
Yeah.
You can't just say everybody's responsible. Then no one is responsible.
Okay, I'm gonna give an example, as you said, like a company.
Yeah.
Imagine I'm not at work and my manager is there. My manager is going to look around and see I'm not there. He's going to have to cover for me because someone has to do that job.
Exactly.
So it's about looking around. It's not about they assign me that job. How can someone assign you a job?
To further point in that scenario, before you left, you would have told your manager who you're dedicating the task to.
Yep.
If you was
for handover,
first of all, if you don't, you're fired. Once you come back, there's handover purposes. You can't just leave a company and not say who is responsible for your work. You have to hand over. And if you want to hand over to your manager, that's perfectly fine.
As an employee, that's not your. That
is your very depth. Like that's
yes.
As in you.
No.
You're fired.
Okay.
My question is, you guys are saying that, but it doesn't actually make sense. You know why?
Okay, why?
If you work, let's say, in a warehouse, are you now going to say, okay, because I'm sick today and I'm home, whatever I had to do, it goes to Sophia.
No.
It's not your responsibility.
You're sick, right? That's a different example. In that day shift, warehouse example, if you are not sick, you would find someone else to cover your shift. It doesn't mean you can't come to work.
Who would you find?
If
you can't,
it's up to you.
It's not anybody.
No, it's literally up to you. If you don't, you have to come to work. If not, you're fired.
Can I say something? You're saying that anybody can just come into the company. People have contracts for a reason.
No,
I can't just tell my neighbor to come to the.
I'm not saying your neighbor.
No.
If we were both working in the same company,
I can't tell you to do my job. It's my manager's job to handle that.
If you were switching shifts, you switch shifts normally. Yeah, you tell your colleague, yo, I've got the shift. Please help me cover.
But if it's a thing last minute,
exactly, last minute for something unconscionable like being sick, I've said that's understandable. Being sick is understandable. The analogy you gave for the mother was she went out with her friends. That's not an unforeseen, unfortunate situation.
Yeah, but she's allowed to do that because she lives.
I didn't say
she lives in a two-parent household.
That's not what we're talking about.
Already knows.
She's allowed to do that. She just needs to delegate to who she's handling responsibility. That's all. That's all we're saying.
Okay, you have 2 kids that are 5 years old. Whose responsibility is it if the mom is not home?
Whoever she delegated to, that's all we're saying.
No. My question is, if it's just the 2 parents...
No, but of course, the dad will take initiative. So yeah, it should be the dad's...
He doesn't need to take initiative. It's literally his job as well.
No way.
Let's go
on a tangent. Obviously, all parents are invested in the positive outcome of their children.
Yep.
What I'm saying is, for the efficiency of child rearing purposes, certain responsibilities have to be managed by so
the man can take the child to bed.
I'm saying he can.
He has to be delegated from the mother.
I agree with you. Yes, he has. The same way. No. Listen.
That's actually
the same way. If the family was in a dire situation financially, I believe it's up to the man.
Let's take the financial part out of it. No. I'm just talking about the kids.
Let's forget about financial.
You can't take it away because the reason she has the kids is because there's another role that's being covered by the dad.
Yes.
So you can't take it away because then the conversation doesn't make any sense.
But even what I'm even trying to say, okay, fine. Let's say she doesn't even want to hear the financial part. Let's talk about security. Okay. Now let's say there's like a bunch of like dangerous people that come to the house.
Okay.
No matter how scared as a man I am going to be, I have to be the first point of defense.
Exactly.
That's my role.
Exactly.
That's my responsibility. That's what's defined.
The police.
That's an interesting.
That's like you saying that. When I go to imagine a man goes to work overnight and then someone's dangerous at the woman's door.
That's an interesting point. Not point, but statement that she made, because that is the modern viewpoint of the modern society and modern women and modern feminism, because the traditional roles that individuals had in the relationship had been outsourced to the government. Everybody now feels, I don't need a man because why can't I just call the police? Why can't I just... Which is fine. I'm not saying all those things are not factual. That's all true. But you can see how that is now breaking down the intersectional dynamics between men and women. Because
if there's men outside with gun and your man has no gun, he's not gonna go outside.
No. It's not your man has no gun. There are certain things a man can do to protect his family, meaning having bolts on the door, having certain things to protect, living in a safe neighborhood.
Or even start arguing or trying to distract. No, you're laughing. No. But think about this. They have they have they have guns on your kids and your wife. Of course, you're gonna stand up and you start you try and distract them.
The point I'm making.
You're saying that see all these points that you're making. A woman can literally do that. Living in a safe neighborhood, she can do that.
I'm not saying she can't. I'm saying for efficiency, those roles should be delegated to certain individuals for efficiency. Whoever it is, if it's the woman's role to provide security, that's fair.
If the man is not home, the man is not home 24/7. I'm pretty sure.
But when he was not home, he should have delegated who is in charge. If he wants to give it to his wife, that's fine. If he's like, you know what, I'm not giving it to my wife. I'm not giving it to my wife.
His wife knows he's at work, so
I'm not giving it to my wife. I'm gonna go hire a security person. I'm gonna go buy a dog. Wherever decision he makes to protect his family, I don't care. That's his responsibility. If his family was violated, I'm not going to come and look at his woman. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the point I'm trying to make. I'm saying, whose responsibility is this? It was yours. Whether you said, I was at work, I expected her to. That's fine.
But even
the family got violated.
But even that, I was even going to make even going to add to that point. You see that thing in prominent African homes when the dad tells the firstborn child, son, yo, make sure you look after your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
As in you did that's my role. I'm giving you this responsibility. Like even your mom, make sure you cook for the like she will tell you, make sure you cook for the house, make sure your dad is eating and all that. As in it's not that you have to do it. It's just that by having these services, it just makes the family function work efficiently. Like mom is equally as important as dad. Dad is equally as important as mom. If you do stuff for mom has to do stuff for dad. And just likewise, there's nothing.
But you can't just leave the situation and say, I expect you to do it. No, you have to clearly vocalize. And again, if you want to say
accountability,
that's fine.
It's just accountability.
So if it's children under 10, then how are you gonna tell your son, protect your mom?
No, but first of all, no. I will tell you a story. There was a time my dad called me when I was a kid, and this was the first. My dad is beginning to respect me. He was like, how's the family? And I was like, you know why that touched me? Because to your point, he was delegating the role of protecting the family to me. So I found that as a responsibility because I know that's his role.
I don't think he was delegating. I think he was preparing for the future.
Yes, it's all the same thing. The point is that he felt I was responsible enough to cover his role. Regardless of what I'm saying,
even if that's how you perceived it, still.
Yes. The point I'm making is that everybody has roles and you need to take responsibility for your role. That's just the only way the family can function. If you think, everybody has equal responsibility for equal activities, then the system breaks down because when something breaks, we start pointing fingers. Whose fault is it that the family is poor? Whose fault is it the kids didn't go to bed? Whose fault is it? And that just creates nuisance, man. But if everybody knows whose fault it was, that's fine. And then you're able to manage that however you please. But you just need to be efficient, man.
I don't know. I think we had all this discussion just because I asked, what if the mom goes? Yeah, what if the mom goes out?
She can go out, but just find someone to.
So find a friend that will put your no. I'm gonna rephrase it then. Basically, if your mom and 2-parent household, find a friend that is available to put your kids to bed because
if the dad
the dad is busy in the same household.
Doing the family responsibility.
In the same household.
Admin work.
If he can't,
he's doing admin. What? I'm just making sure my email up to date. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, what you're saying is the kids are 5, right? The kids are 5. They say they're hungry, but the dad is on the computer making money, so he can't assist to them.
No, see the point. I think the point you're trying
because
to
you're saying that everybody has that's what I'm asking.
No. The point you're trying to drive here is actually just being basic adults, right? As in your mom and dad are adults. And one thing about adulthood is accountability. If you're in a relationship and you're not able to take accountability, you're not an adult. So your parents have to show you they have to show you the best example of that, which is why we went down to that example of when your dad is leaving, make sure you take care of your mom, make sure you take care of your sister. He doesn't, generally speaking, doesn't think you're gonna, you're gonna physically
doing it.
He doesn't think you're physically gonna do it. But it's like a teaching moment. Listen, this is what dad is here for, and this is why I'm telling you to do stuff like this because this is a responsibility for a dad. You're my son. You're going to be a dad one day. It's almost like a teachable moment. Your mom too one day. Cook for the house. She's not saying. I mean, sometimes she's not even expecting you to cook it. Maybe 9 times out of 10, if you come from a good enough home, you probably have like cooks or house helps that would normally do the cooking. But your mom will encourage you, learn or go and participate there, go and be part of that kind. Even if you don't cook, you set the dinner table or something like that, or encourage people to come and eat. It's just part of bringing the family together. And I'm sure there's a lesson for every individual mother why she's asking you to do that kind of stuff. But long story short, it's just it's all about accountability. It's like football, right? You can't have 11 strikers. You need a defender, you need a left back. Equally.
Right back can't overlap and be playing.
I'm just gonna ask a question here. Right. You guys say yes or no.
Yeah.
Is it fair for the dad when he is taking care of his own children, call it babysitting? Yes or no?
If he's taking care of his own children, it's called it babysitting.
Yeah, but wait, I don't understand.
What's wrong with? As in, what's the context? Why is babysitting the?
If my child is 9 months, yeah, I'm babysitting my
Isn't
child.
that a technical? That's the technical definition.
Your wife can be babysitting her child too. Like, I don't understand.
No, I think when women are taking care of their children, they're doing what they're supposed to do, basically. But when men, I've seen that so much.
Are you asking?
I've seen that so much.
If a man is doing the domestic duties of nurturing the child.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying like just taking, like, if the mom is not home and he knows he has to put the kid to bed because the mom is working.
Yeah.
And the kid will be hungry before they go to bed. Is it fair for a man to be calling it babysitting, although it's also his duties?
So you're referring to
babysitting
because babysitting is an activity done by someone not related to the child. Is that
no. Yeah, basically. Because many men call it babysitting, although it's their children.
Okay.
And that's one thing I don't really understand.
I think it's probably referred to as babysitting because that's not the role he's supposed to be doing. It's not the fact that it's not his child. It's just I'm not supposed to be doing this role.
So even though the mom is not at home and it's a two-parent household, he doesn't feel like he's supposed to be doing that role.
No, he doesn't feel like he's supposed to be doing that role. He sees it as yes, I'm doing this role, but it's not my default responsibility. I'm just filling in for someone. But how
is he filling in if it's a two-parent household? That's what I want to understand.
Again, it goes back to the point of accountability.
No, my question is just this because, okay, we're talking about devouring mothers and single mother households. If she gets her friend to do it, her friend is going to call it babysitting because that's not her children. That's not her responsibility. But now I'm asking, if it's a two-parent household, how can the dad call it babysitting when it's his children and he knows that his wife works until a certain time at night?
It depends on how they've delegated responsibilities. If they said 50-50, meaning I do 50% of raising money, you do 50% of rearing the children, right? 50-50. So when he's doing his own 50, maybe don't refer it to as babysitting. I don't have a problem with the word, but if you're saying, because it feels like you're not related to the kids, then yes, it makes sense for him not to call it babysitting when he's doing what he's agreed to do, which is his 50%.
Even if he's not agreed to do it, that's his children still.
It's not about being his children. I'm saying their responsibilities and roles. This is not about like. We can all have the same children. Doesn't mean we have to do the same activities or have the same responsibilities towards those children. Everybody doesn't have to do this. I'm just saying I believe it should be done for a family to work efficiently. But if you want to be a 50-50 relationship family,
do you know what?
You don't need to be 50-50. You can be 100.
This whole conversation is what's wrong with us right now as society, right? We're so fixated in wanting to be like equal. Like, no, celebrate diversity. Like,
I don't believe so because I do have aunties that are very older and I can see the difference from the two households. I can see the difference from the dad literally saying, okay, she's not home and I'm gonna do what she normally does. Or I'm gonna do, even if she's here, I'm still gonna do those duties. They don't think about 50-50. But I see the difference when I go to a family and they see it as 50-50 and the dad calls it, oh no, I'm just here babysitting my kids. You can see the difference from the two households. So I believe
that. But the mother is more nurturing. So she wouldn't like, I think it's even subconscious. The mother will say, oh yeah, I'm just playing with my kids. The dad can just say, oh, I'm babysitting my kids, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm babysitting my kid. He literally just says, it's just a way of communicating it. It just it's just babysitting. It doesn't mean not like the word. It doesn't mean anything. It's same.
Because I would use the same term if I was looking after my younger when we were kids. But he's still my brother.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, essentially what I'm saying is their roles and responsibilities.
I'm just saying I can see the difference because men that don't call it babysitting. They attend to their kids. Even though the wife is not there, they attend to their kids. But men that call it babysitting, they'll say, oh no, I'm busy doing something else. And the kids are there running around like they have no stability.
It goes back to the point of being a good team player. If I see my teammate for some reason couldn't do their role, even if they didn't ask me, I step in.
Yeah.
Football, back to football.
That's what I'm saying. So how did you say?
But the point I'm trying to make is, even though I stepped in, it is still your responsibility. So when I've stepped in and I've done your duty, and I'm giving on the football pitch, back to analogy, hey man, cover your stuff. The reason I'm giving you accountability is because it was your default responsibility.
Absolutely.
I had to step in because I'm a team player. I understand. If you lose, I lose. So I stepped in, make sure we didn't both lose. But when I'm giving you the accountability,
on the football you stepped in.
Yeah.
But you were just saying before that when the mom goes out of the house, she needs to ask
the dad. She needs to, the same way on the football.
But on the football, you just jump in.
I'm saying in the football. That's what even to the football analogy. The person that I stepped in, before I stepped in, she wouldn't say, yo, cover me. Before you go up for the corner, as a centre back, hey, CDM, cover this. You get what I'm saying? You have to dedicate. I'm saying if they forgot to do that, regardless, I'll still step in as a good teammate. But I would give them the accountability of, you should have told me to step in. You should have not left your position. You get what I'm saying?
Of course. Just accountability. Accountability, man. But because think about it, the aim of parenthood is to raise and nurture, like, impactful people in society, right? So the thing is, why are you gonna nurture them in the same way? Surely you need different ideas in order for them, to even help your child formulate his own ideas by picking from your dad's side, your mom's side, and seeing different things in order for him to formulate his own. Because if he has one ideology, then it just everybody just thinks the same, and then what? There's no progress.
Because I'm not just saying that people should think the same. I was kind of just saying, when it comes to the taking care part. No, I'm not thinking the same. Like, I don't think parents should nurture the same. Is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what we're emphasizing on the roles. We can't. As a dad, I can't keep telling you, I love you every day. No, I love you by showing you how hard I work every day. Oh, by the way, do you want to go jogging? Do you want to go to the gym? Do you want to go play football? Do you want to go do this thing? I'm spending quality time with you. Like, that's my way of telling you I love you. Whereas your mom can kiss you in the forehead every day, hold you on the arm. Like, if that's what she needs to do, that's fine. All I'm gonna say is there's men that believe that, they live in a box and whatever is on their box, that's all they can do, and there's some men that don't.
No, that's fine. That's with life for everything.
There's always going to be exceptions. The exceptions don't speak up for the majority, right? That's why they're called exceptions. It's like,
but before we got to, I can't remember how we got to this point, but I think we're talking about the effects the divine mother or the overdoting mother has on the son. You said it limits the son's ambition. So wherever the mother's ambition is set at,
and their capability as well.
Yeah. So what does that do for the female? Because you didn't answer that.
I think for the female devoting mother, I believe that it makes you feel incapable of many stuff. Like, when your dad criticizes you, okay, it's your dad, whatever. But if it's your mom criticizing you, it really does take part on the way you think, the way you act. Many devouring mothers are single women, so they bring that scarcity or anything that happened to them, they bring that to their daughters. Yeah. Imagine a single mom that never got married forces her daughter to get married. Anybody that the daughter can get, basically, just to do what she wasn't able to do. Okay. So I think that's the way it affects a woman. It's just by the way she sees herself, because many single mothers, when they look at their daughters, they see themselves. They think, oh, this is me.
Of fears.
Yeah, they think this is me, but just in another face, in another body. So they put those fears onto you, and it's kind of you living your life with their trauma, basically. I think when there's a two-parent household is healthier, just because it is a triangle, The kid is at the bottom. The kid doesn't know all the information, all that goes on inside the house, because it's two parents holding it. But when it's just the mom and the daughter, I think there's many things that the mom ends up saying to the daughter that she maybe shouldn't have, or expectations that she'll have on the daughter that she shouldn't have. Like, if it's, let's say, if she has only one daughter and she's a single mother, she will either expect the daughter to get everything she could never get and be very ambitious, the ambition she never had, or she will expect the daughter to provide for her. Because on the end of the day, even if you don't have a man, you still want those qualities from someone else. And if that's the only person you have in your life, that's the person you ask for, basically.
So the mom lives, so how effectively daughter she tries to live her life again vicariously through the daughter. So relieve her stuff. Okay. Yeah. So in that situation where she's now a single mother, there's no masculine influence. Does she now project her perception of men? Because if the child was living in a two-parent household, she doesn't need to project her perception of a man because the child can already see with the dad. But now she has to project her perception of men. How does that work for the daughter? Like, does it, let's say she had a bad experience with men and she's trying to make men to the Nigeria, she never got married, she wants her daughter to get married. So she's trying to, go find a man, or maybe she never got married and she feels, stay away from men. Like, how does that translate to the daughter? Do the daughters adopt the mentality or they go against the whatever mentality?
I think the daughters keep the mentality while they've not had many experiences with men. But when they started looking around, they do see that every man is different. Every person is different. Maybe what you encountered yesterday is not the same thing I'm going to encounter today. So I think being around men also gives the daughter a bit of assurance that, my mom is saying this and saying that about men, but on the end of the day, I have a different perspective, basically. So I think it can go both ways. It can go the way that, you need to get married right now, or it can go the way that, you don't need men. I've lived all this time without men. I think it depends of the financial situation, really. Because if it's a single mom that is a poor mom, of course she would always want a man around her because she could be more secure and everything. So she will tell her daughter, like, go and marry and everything. But a financial stable mom will be the complete opposite. She'll be like, you don't need a man. I've not needed a man until today, so you don't need it too. So I think it depends on their financial situation.
That's a good point.
I think for me, I think it actually depends on the relationship between the daughter and the mother. Because if the daughter and the mother are extremely close, that could be a very good and dangerous thing, because whatever ideology the mom has, the daughter will really buy into it, right? But then if the daughter doesn't, if there's a sort of like rebellion or there's like friction within that relationship, like 9 times out of 10, the daughters tend to rebel against the morals the mom is trying to instill in them, and you see them fight a lot. A lot of people moving out, or people, I don't know, like reporting to your aunties a lot, and like all these calling family meetings regularly. Like, generally speaking, that's where it comes from, because like, you're trying to instill something without explaining, and I think sometimes there's that disconnect of, even no matter how much you're trying to protect somebody, you also have to remember they're human beings as well. You need to a certain level, explain why you are doing that to them, whether directly or indirectly. You need to make them understand that somehow, anyways. And I don't think parents generally do that.
I hear that, and to the point of the daughter having to go outside, so she didn't have the experience of another man in the house to be able to counterbalance whatever viewpoint her mom was projecting. So to Angel's point, she has to go out into the world to experience men, to be able to say, actually, no, what my mom was saying was not true, or what my mom was saying was actually very facts. That fact of her going out to the world to find men for herself, to experience men for herself, is a very important reason why there needs to be the two-parent household, for the man to be there. Because if the man was there, then the daughter doesn't have to go out. And the fact that she goes out, personally, I believe it's a detrimental position for her anyways, because she's either going to experience men in such a way that maybe my mom was right, I need to combat this man, so she begins to become more masculine, right? Or she goes and experiences this man
hyper feminine,
and becomes so hyper feminine that this guy's, oh my god, this is a fantastic experience, I must do everything every man says because my mom was clearly wrong. So, but if she was with her dad, the fact that her dad is her dad, if he's a good dad, obviously there's some dads that are terrible dads, but if her dad is a good dad, just because he doesn't have that alternative he doesn't have that alternative drive or need, like he's not trying to extract something from her, he's just purely relating to her because she's his daughter. He's going to give her the unadulterated version of a man.
Exactly.
So she's not going to become, to the point, very hyper feminine or very masculine. She's going to
be right in balance.
So
I think for me, I believe that in African culture, even sometimes people that don't have a dad there still get married, because we believe in Western culture, you believe that your parents are your only family. So if you only have your mom, that's your only family. But in African culture, if your dad is not there, his brother is there, his uncle is there. You have uncles from both parts supporting you for you to understand what an image of a real man is. So I think that African people have that option, while in Western culture they don't really have that option.
And that's
like
a good point,
in my country, Angola, if my dad is not there, if he's not in the country for 1 year, all my uncles, they're like a dad to me. If I've got family reunion, something like that, someone that needs to call me out, my uncles are my dads at that moment when he's not there. From both parts, from same mother and dad's part. But when it comes to the Western culture, who's gonna be that parent? Who's gonna mimic that second parent that is missing there? So,
and that's actually true. Like you always have that one uncle that, like, when you get the call from him, you're like, whoa, same effect as your dad. You're like, whoa, like, or if he says, oh, he's disappointed in you, that thing pains, as in that thing pains you. Like,
that's true, and that's a very important fact, because even when you hear some guys talk about, a lot of women are going to become single mothers, to your point, in an African context, it's not that bad, because in Africa, we know that child rearing is a community thing. So everybody's still involved. So even if a child, because there are some people it's not like their dad left, their dad died, so there's nothing they can do about the fact, but they've got a strong community of positive men around them that they can get raised by. But in the Western culture or community or society, where things are so individualistic, it doesn't make sense for you as a woman to go into that situation as a single, because if you are in the African context and say maybe you're a 40-year-old woman who is not married and decided you wanted to have a kid by yourself, it's not that bad, because you already know you've got a network of positive men. But you can't do that in the Western society, is basically what I'm trying to say.
I think for me...
Sorry, just to drive one point. But let's say, when we're saying Africa, we're talking about the villages, because in the cities, it's just like the West. In Lagos and all that, it's just like the West. It's like, you have to do it in a town.
Well, it depends on how you live. Because even when I grew up, like in Lagos, I lived in a smallish town. Everybody knew everybody. So it's a situation where everybody knew kids need to be looked after. So even if I'm not, my dad is not there, boss man will say something, church, uncle in church will say, someone will say something,
Not just in the villages, but I feel like even on the capital, like, I've lived in Angola, in the capital, and you know your neighbors. Everybody, like, the people that live in your street.
Exactly.
So on the end of the day, you're always going to be there for them. They're always going to advise you in some way. So I believe that it depends how your parents raised you. Because,
and your economic situation. Because if you're poor, then obviously the people around you don't have the time to be helping you around. But if you're in middle class and upper, then obviously you live in a community where people have time to look after your kids, even if you don't have the man next to you.
I think going back to Western culture and how it affects kids, I think it affects women and men. I've met men that have not been raised by their dads as a Western man, and they've got nothing to show. They, I've had a guy cry to me and say, I don't know male duties. I don't know any male duties, because I was raised by my grandma and mom. So when it came to that, I didn't know how to react, because I'm not a man, so I couldn't advise him.
That's true.
I kind of just thought that
She doesn't know a man and she didn't know how to advise.
I don't know how to advise it. Like a Western man tells me that he's not being raised by his dad and everything. You know, how am I gonna, you know?
That's facts. And as in
how am I gonna pursue that? Because his uncle that should be there, you know, as in our culture.
Yeah.
You know, they're not really close. So.
And that's a good point because to the topic of the divine mother, I believe the divine mother complex can only exist with the absentee father. For both cases, we've touched about how it affects the boys and we've touched about how it affects the girls. Yes, it's that absentee of the male positive figure. And for boys it affects. Fathers essentially keep girls, I know this is a simplistic way of saying it, keep girls off the strip poles but keep boys off the streets. That's very simplistic, but basically what he's saying is fathers prevent girls from becoming masculine and going to do the masculine things which they're not supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be out here working 15 hours trying to survive or thinking what your next meal is. Women are not built that way to survive. And you don't want to become too hyper feminine where everything every man says is word, gospel. You get what I'm saying? The father is supposed to provide that balance. And supposed to do that for the son as well. Make sure the son doesn't go to the streets to start learning. You know, you have a situation where there's a 19-year-old kid telling a 14-year-old kid life lessons. He doesn't know anything about life, so how can he even tell him, yo, this is the lane to go? But also the father is not supposed to make the son so weak, like how the divine mother does when he can't do anything for himself. Go, what are you doing? Go wash that car, you get. So the father brings balance for both sexes.
I think both parents bring balance into the household just because, I mean, I do see many Western men and even when they have a father in the household, they still don't know how to do
because their father is absentee.
Small
even
things,
if the father is there, it's still an absentee father. If he's not doing the fatherly roles, if he's doing the friend role or the second nurturer, you get what I'm trying to say? The soft father, the father that is trying to my wife is the one going out to work. I'm not judging anyone's family situation. Everybody needs both roles, but to me it's more efficient if people that are capable.
What do you call those roles?
No. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I've said it in my head.
But then I do believe that there's many dads that are home, but they're not doing any of their duties.
That's an absentee father.
Because even if he's there, okay, you're married, okay, you had kids with the person you married, but are they actually contributing to your kids' minds? Are they actually doing something to get closer to them, you know?
And the kids both in that situation, because people always use the single mother stats or single mother 80%, your kids 80% to do this. I think there are two things wrong with that stat because one, it compares it to me it doesn't take into account socioeconomic status because I think socioeconomic status is a big factor to how the kids come out. But the second one is it doesn't take it just takes physical presence of father out. There are, to your point, a lot of family households where there's supposedly a man, but that man is not present. Those children are supposed to grow up as an absentee father and will have the same delinquent behaviors we talked about. The boys be in the streets, the girls be in the street poles. Even if this man was in the picture supposedly, so
there's some niggas that are in pictures and like their sons are still trapping.
Exactly, because they're actually not in the picture, like in the real sense. So it is an important issue, and the point of bringing it up to like for an Afrocentric perspective, Western society is where we have a society that encourages women to actively go into single motherhood and forget this divine mother complex. We as a society are not thinking about the effects that it's going to have on us because we are literally creating delinquent youths. Boys that are bad, girls that are
what I believe is when women go into those roles, it's not just because society told them. If they grew into a household where the dad was there but he wasn't doing anything for them, then you always ask yourself, why have a man in the household?
You end up in the same situation.
If you had a dad that was hands-on and, always taking care of you, of course you always are going to think, I need to have a husband. But if the man never did anything, his presence, he was there, but his presence wasn't noticeable, then...
You think you don't need a man and you can live life just... as a woman,
why wouldn't you think that?
No, that's
how you know what I mean?
you could have situations to that single mother stat where there are a lot of two-parent households who are still producing the same kinds of delinquent youth. So
I feel like the only thing I can say is that, you know, the financial is okay. You can be a dad and bring all the financials, but you also have to realize that you have to be there for your kids and you have to play some role in their life, you know? Yeah. So that's the most important thing to keep in mind, because if dads start doing their role in every household, how will a woman that goes into your household think, oh, I'm just going to be a single mother and this fine? No woman would think that in her mind if she goes to a household and actually sees a man doing his own role towards the child.
If the woman is responsible for bringing money into the house, I am in agreement with you that the man should also be responsible for rearing kids.
I agree.
Yeah.
While saying in a situation where the man, for some reason, again, this is hypothetical. I'm not talking about any specific situation.
Just say what it says. Let me be scared. Let me be political.
I'm trying to be legal. This is legal. It's not political. I'm trying to. The law is involved. So basically, in that situation, if the man is doing 100% of that responsibility, it's fair for the woman to do 100% of the others. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if they're going whatever split,
just accountability.
No, what I'm saying, all I'm saying is,
that's count.
If you visit a couple and it's a two-parent household, if you feel on that space that is a two-parent household, it can't just be the mom cooking, cleaning, doing everything, and then the dad is just sitting on the computer. Like, why? What are you doing? Why are you here?
If him sitting on the computer is making money, that's fine.
I'm saying,
if he's not, I agree with you that you should get his ass up and also go.
Okay, he can be making money, but imagine if you work a 9 to 5, let's say. Okay, you know you finish at 5. I'm gonna be in that household for 24 hours, and all the dad does is hang around on the computer, watch TV, watch football. Why do you need a man in the household if he's just gonna be doing those things?
To your point, because you went to work, it means you're contributing to the finances. So the man is not doing 100% on the finances, right? If he's not doing 100% on the finances, then he should also be contributing to the child rearing. If you didn't need to go to work because he's already covered all the finances, but you wanted to go to work because you're a career ambitious woman, you want to go conquer the world, that's fantastic. You forgot your duties, that's what I'm saying. And if you find someone to delegate,
I'm not even saying that, because I'm talking about a stranger coming into your house and seeing that you, as a dad, you don't do anything in that house.
No, because I've done my part. Provided 100% of the finances is what I'm saying.
Okay, you've done your finances, but have you spoken to your children today? Have you asked them how they are?
That's a personal choice. That's not wrong. That's I mean, as a personal choice.
Okay.
All I live in your house is
my question. Okay.
That's wild.
No,
but that's a traumatic stuff. Yo, Papa never spoke to you for a year. Sorry.
I'm not saying that you won't speak to them for a year, but I'm saying as a dad, you have to connect to your children in a deeper level. You can't just be like, okay, good morning. I've seen in so many African households. Okay, the kids say good morning. The mom is cooking, the mom is speaking to them all day. The dad is just here, like, watching TV, computer.
I
Although, okay, they bring 100%, of the finances and everything. But then African men especially start wondering, why is my kid not close to me? What were you doing when they were growing up? What were they were seeing you do? All you were doing is avoiding the kids because they do too much noise, of course. Watching TV, saying I bring money into this household. I bring money into this household.
That's a different role, because that's the dad's role to bring discipline and guidance to the kids, and he's not doing that. We're talking about the role of doing the domestic cleaning up after the kids and all that. That's a different subject. We're not talking about discipline and stuff. If he's disciplined, of course he should. Not just think, my moral is to provide money and then you guys.
All I'm saying is,
and that's more even a personal choice as well, as opposed to even roles in relationship.
I feel like all I'm saying is, for women to believe that they can bear children and raise them by themselves, they need to see an example of a house, or they needed to see an example of a house that even with a dad, it was not working out. I've seen a video just lately, it's even been trending on TikTok and everything. The mom is sick, the dad is sick. The mom has the 3 kids that are sick on her arms. And the dad, where is he? He's in bed because he's sick. They all are suffering from the same sickness. She's having pain as he's having pain. 2-parent household. The dad is chilling like a visitor. and the mom is there with the kids.
Is what she's doing with the kids? Is it the role of like cleaning up after the kids, like being the domestic facilitator of the kids in that situation? Is that what you're talking about? Like she's
what I'm talking about is if the mom, like on that example, the mom is in pain, the dad is in pain, same sickness, and the mom is the one that is getting up and the 3 kids on her shoulders while the dad is just chilling there like a visitor.
I think
Do you believe that both in the same pain, a woman that is in the same pain as you, she should be doing all that work without any of your help because you provide the financials?
If within that same pain he got up to go provide the finances, then yes. If as they were both experiencing pain, she went to take care of the kids, he went to get up the finances, then that's fair.
No, without talking about what he's gonna do during that time. Okay, what if it's a weekend and he only works weekdays? He's seen her suffer. Both of them are suffering.
That's his best day. That's about yes. The reason why he has a weekend is because he was working during the week. She doesn't have a weekend because she wasn't working during the week.
Yeah.
So they both say,
probably be when the kids are in school. When the kids are in school, exactly. Like hours, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. That's our weekend.
They're both sick, and
she's sick on a work day. That's what I'm saying. He's sick on the weekend. She's sick on the work day. There are 2 different sick days.
I'm not talking about the work day. I'm talking in a normal household. Let's not talk about work and stuff like that. In a normal household, you're seeing your woman go through the same pain as you are with the 3 kids on her shoulder, being so tired, and you're just gonna let it go because you're the dad. You provide the financials.
You're seeing the man go through the same pain and also go provide finances. But making the same point.
We're not making the same point. I'm talking about him not going to work that day.
Because it's his off day. It's not because he doesn't want to go to work. If it was Monday, he will have to go to work with all that pain because he has to go get the finances. He can't say to his wife, "Oh, I'm going to work with pain. Why are you not going to work with pain?" That's your responsibility, bro. And I'm in support of that. I'm saying, get your ass up as a man in that pain. Go do your work because that's your responsibility.
I'm not talking about work. I'm talking about households.
Because that's her responsibility. I know. I think the misunderstanding is...
I'm saying both of them are in pain. Instead of you easing the work for your wife, you're just there like, nah, I don't have anything to do with it because it's the financials.
No, but no man.
You think that's fair?
No, if you love and respect. But never respect their responsibility.
No, but the video is going around and it's a true video. It's a real video. So I'm asking you guys, do you guys agree with behaving like that as a dad, behaving like a visitor and letting your wife suffer with all that?
The point of it, the reason why I even brought love and respect, let's even break it down. Even with my friends or people I consider, people that I mess with, right? I respect them to a certain distance. Like, yes, it's not my, let's say for example my friend is struggling, let's say financially, I'm capable of helping him, right? It's not my role to do it. But if I have the means to do it, I will offer. That's just like a single principle. It's just that like when it's in a relationship, it's just a lot more defined, right? It's a lot more defined as, okay, you know what, you are good at this thing, me, I'm good at this thing. This is what we're gonna do in order for our relationship to work. Now, when it comes to your question of domestic work, right?
I'm not talking about domestic. Okay. That's not domestic work.
Okay, fine.
The kids are sick. You both are sick. Is it domestic work? That's not domestic work.
No, I think the misunderstanding is you're assuming the woman is going to work as well.
I'm not talking about work. I'm not even talking about work.
I understand you're not talking about work. I'm saying the reason why it doesn't make sense for the man not to chip in that situation is because the woman also chips into the finances, and that makes sense. The example was
even if she doesn't chip in onto the financial.
If she doesn't chip in, we have no argument.
Even
because
if she
that's
doesn't.
How
Okay. My question was only not about the financial. Whoever chips in, whatever the situation is. But I'm just saying, would you let your wife suffer while you know that you can help with that?
Too. You said
while you're in bed.
She said we're both sick. You didn't say I was healthy. If I was healthy, that would have been a different conversation. I'm sick too.
Yeah, but you both have the same sickness. So the same pain you're feeling, she's feeling as well.
I'm feeling it too.
Yeah, exactly. She's feeling it too. So are you not going to try to ease her pain?
Is she trying to ease my pain?
You're in bed.
I don't understand. In bed. We're both suffering the same pain. Why are we pointing fingers? Like why?
Because she's taking care of 3 other humans that are in the same pain.
She doesn't
and
have.
You are in bed.
If that's her responsibility, then that's her responsibility. If it's not, if we both agreed it's 50-50, then it makes no sense for me to be in bed. Yes. I should be up and helping her.
Yes.
Okay, then. Okay. Then you have to agree to be 50-50 to not see your woman suffer. Then. Okay.
Yeah, and that's 50% of her going to work and working. Bitch, I mean, we can. I think everybody should build their own family unit. Like, I'm not one to prescribe.
Yes.
Yeah, like 50-50.
All I'm saying is, if women have that option to go for the men that actually feel sorry for them and will get out of bed and will contribute to that, that situation, if we have that option, why are we gonna go for the option of the guy that just stays in bed? That's all I'm saying.
Men like that, you
That's all I'm saying.
The option really there? That's all I'm asking.
Let me tell you something.
That's all I'm saying.
Let me see.
The option is actually there. You are laughing about it because you don't flinch about it.
You don't like those guys. That's what I'm saying.
Who doesn't like those guys?
That's what you call the simps of nowadays. The guys that do.
The simps of nowadays is the ones that when you're struggling with your kids and he's home too, he gets up and gives you a hand. That's a simp
on YouTube. So
that's a simp then.
Let's not call them.
Wait,
that's an S word.
Word. Okay, the S word.
Anyways, those kind of men who voluntarily. I'm not saying like if you love your wife, obviously you step in. But I'm saying stepping into feelings.
If you don't love your wife, don't step in.
No. I mean, yeah, if you don't love your wife, obviously
don't step in.
Why is your wife?
That doesn't even make sense. If you don't love your wife, why you love me?
That should even be a sentence. I don't love my wife. What does that even mean?
Everybody's allowed to love who they love.
No, but
mine is not about love. I don't believe mine is about love. But that's a different conversation. So in that scenario, if he doesn't love his wife, if he doesn't love his wife, he doesn't step in, that's fine. I'm saying if you love your wife and want to step in, that's okay. But if you're stepping in because you've already completed your 100% of bringing in the finances, but you still need to overcompensate and complete her own 100%, to me that doesn't make sense.
So getting out of bed and easing your wife of the load of the kids that you both have.
Easing the wife of the load. You didn't say getting out of bed and easing him of his own responsibilities. When it was his turn to be in pain and do his own responsibilities, this analogy is not there. Why are we only focusing on the woman's turn? It's supposed to be 50-50, isn't it? It's supposed to be balanced. When it's his turn to be in pain, she should also get up and ease. And if she does, then he has every responsibility to do it for her as well. That's what I'm saying.
Facts.
Yeah, that's just it. Paul.
Okay, so you agree on the 50-50 then?
Yeah.
I said everybody should build their own families.
I agree.
Everybody should build their own families. Everybody should.
But yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, man.
I completely agree.
All I can say is I hope the person that stays with you guys on the I hope the person that stays with you guys on the future can watch this and can know prior. When you're struggling with the 3 kids, don't think he's gonna get up. He already privates the financials.
I never said what person believes.
Wait,
I just give a
this is such a Stevie Wonder thing. Like how did you conclude that this is what I think?
Yeah, I just commented objectively on the situation.
No, we had a conversation. We had a conversation.
I asked you, what do you think? And you said the financials.
No, of that particular scenario. Give me a particular scenario. You didn't ask me what would I do if my wife was sick.
Yeah,
that's a different conversation.
What would I do if my wife was sick? Is a complete different from.
But how is it different? Because I present to you the scenario and I say to you, do you think that's wrong or not? And you.
From an objective standpoint, like me not being emotionally, for my wife, I'm emotionally invested.
Yeah.
So is it going to be a different thought process? For this scenario, I don't know those 2 people you're talking about, so I don't care.
I don't even know the context.
I don't know the context.
I'm saying as a man, in your projective, right? Would you do that to your partner? And we just answered it.
Me in perspective, or would a man in general do that? Me? Are you asking me what
I asked you. I asked you, do you think this is all right for this situation to happen? Yeah, when I say that, I mean you.
The situation happening and the situation happening with me are 2 different things. The situation can happen and I'm not involved. So another man can conduct it. So
Do you think he acted correctly with that situation?
Objectively speaking, based on my prescribed conditions, if he's doing 100% of one role and this was 100% of our role, then he's acting fine. If he was not, if maybe she's also going to work as well and she's expecting to chip in and he's not doing it, then he was wrong. Yeah. Objectively.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with that.
We can agree to disagree. I will send you the link later. You can put it down below if you want.
Disagree.
We just had a conversation.
Anyways, yeah, man. It's been a good one. It's been a good pod.
Yeah.
Angel's got to go, so we need to wrap this up. But yeah, it's been a great one. Thanks for joining us for another episode. Please remember to like the videos, comment on the YouTube channels. We're loving the support. We thank you for the support. You can also catch us on our social media handles. They're in our descriptions and in the screen. So yeah, just remember to keep supporting. We appreciate all the love, all the support.
Yes. TCT to the world.
Come on. So yeah.
Mr. Yoshi. Whoa.